With student discipline, at the beginner levels, what I mainly focus on is I'm looking for the fact that they can follow the directions, that they understand the directions, and that they also show respect to one another and to the instructors. As they move up in rank, the discipline does increase. It gets a little harder. More focus is needed, and more disciplinary measures are taken for disobeying a command or for something simple as just moving. Like at a beginner level, it's very common for students to play with their belts or play with their dough box and keep adjusting themselves. What we want to focus on is at the start, put in reminders, don't do that, maybe drop them for push-ups, things like that, to try to make them aware of the actions that they're doing, that they may not realize that they're doing, and be more disciplined on their body and on themselves. As they get higher in rank, it increases. Something simple as maybe scratching or having an itch, they may be dropped for push-ups. And over time, what this develops is it develops a really strong discipline over oneself, over your body, over actions. Ideally, it's to incorporate it into everyday life so that your discipline is always with you. But in order to have a good, strong discipline, it takes time. For example, from white to black belt should take about 5 years. Within that 5 years of training, the student should have a very well-developed self-discipline. But that time is needed. It can't be taught in a year or less. The actual repetition of the discipline is how it grows so strong. Basically, my expectations for my students is to be attentive in class. The more you pay attention, the more you're going to learn. There's just so much material in the Taekwondo system that if you're not fully attentive and not fully paying attention, it's easy to miss some things. They will come back. You'll learn it again. And also constant practice. The more you practice at home, the more you're going to learn it, the better you're going to learn it. And if you just do it one day a week, you're not really going to get much out of it. You're not going to learn it well enough to actually use it or even be able to apply even the philosophy that is brought to you in class. The discipline aspects, they just won't be learned with a 1 day a week. I encourage students to come at least twice a week. And take advantage of any extra classes that you can. Obviously, the more that you do it, the better you're going to get. It's just like anything. Practice makes perfect. I'd like to go over the class structure and how I break everything up. Pretty much I break it up into 4 main categories. You have your kicks, your stances and hand techniques, your pumseis, and your application. With kicks, each level you're going to learn new kicks or different variations of the kicks that you've already learned. And then at each level you'll learn new stances and new hand techniques, whether they be blocks or strikes. And at each level I break it up, try to make it easy to learn, and each one builds off of the other one. And then when you get to the pumseis, each level has their own pumseis. A pumsei is an imaginary fight against imaginary opponents. What these drills are for, they're to help train the muscles, train the memory of the muscles, so that the techniques and the movements become more reflex rather than having to think about what you're doing. They also teach you how to move more fluidly and add more power into your techniques. And then there's application. Application has 3 different pieces to it. You have your freestyle, your self-defense exercises, and then your sparring. The freestyle is all your wrist grabs, if somebody grabs you, how to get out of that, wrist locks, grappling, stuff of that nature. Self-defense exercises are more of a traditional style defense where you have an attacker doing a specific attack coming at you and you are working on a specific defense on that attack. And the repetition of this helps to build the reflexes as well, so that if an attack comes at you from this direction or from that direction, your body will automatically move right into it and without having to think about it. That's the main goal. And then with the sparring, it's to kind of put a fighting practice into the art. Teaches you how to move, how to use your footwork, and how to block, counter, how to defend against an opponent who has freedom to move around and attack at will. It's a really good exercise to build your reaction time, build your footwork, appropriate combinations, and learn how to use the techniques when they're coming at you.